From the heart of the Space City to the heart of Gen Z, welcome to Next Gen Conversation. Not Dad's Talk Radio. Ethan talks to you about the issues and events that matter to our generation. This is the Next Gen Report with Ethan Buchanan.
Hey everybody, good evening. Welcome to the Tuesday evening live edition of the Next Gen Report. Live right now on X, on Facebook as well. We're all over the internet. I want to start out by acknowledging the obvious. I am insanely sunburned. Like, severely, noticeably sunburned. I know it. You know it. We can all see it. There's no point in trying to hide it, trying to dance around it. I messed up, guys. I messed up. I did not take the heat seriously. I went down to Galveston, spent a day at the beach this weekend, and I used spray-on sunscreen on my face. I should not have done that. I should have used the paste. I should have used the good stuff. I should have used the paste, the SPF 100. That's what I need. I am a cracker among crackers. So if I get out in the sun without copious amounts of sunscreen, this is what happens. You're looking at it. I'm not proud of it, but that's what happened. I should have listened to Judge Lena Hidalgo. Believe it or not, she got out ahead of this one. Well, she was a little late for me, but on Monday, she put out this big statement about how serious the heat is. Check this out. Judge Hidalgo's statement on extreme heat risk this week. Harris County Judge Lena Hidalgo released the following statement amid the ongoing extreme heat advisories in Harris County. We are monitoring the high temperatures and potential wildfire risk very closely. We're working with our community partners, including the libraries, county precincts, la-di-da-di-da. She's working with everybody. She's on it, guys. Don't worry. I know it's super, super hot outside because it's August and we're in Houston. Go figure. But Lena Hidalgo is on it. She wasn't on it enough to stop me from getting the sunburn. I am holding her personally responsible. Okay, we've got a lot of stuff that I actually want to talk about today. Obviously, we need to acknowledge the passing of the legendary Dolly Parton. That was something I wasn't prepared for. She was 80. So, I mean, it's not like she died young or, it's hard to say it wasn't an untimely death because it was, but, she was 80 years old. So that happens. But nevertheless, it was very tragic. Obviously, I grew up listening to Dolly Parton's music. I'm a big fan of her music, or at least I was. I still am, actually. I don't know why I'm saying I was. Like, I can't listen to her music anymore. But, it's not really the same that she's not here. It's just kind of, she's one of those people that, you never really expect to die ever. You just kind of think, oh yeah, she'll be around till the end of time because she's always been here. But let that be a lesson to you. Life is temporary. Treasure it. Obviously, Dolly Parton will be missed. Let me know in the comments. Use the chat feature. Let me know what your favorite Dolly Parton songs were or song. If you've got one that stands out to you. I have two, actually. I like 9 to 5 quite a lot. It's just so catchy. It's just a fun song. That's, for my money, is my favorite Dolly Parton song. But she also did a cover of one of my other all-time favorite songs, which is Freebird by Lynyrd Skynyrd. I think that song is fantastic. If you've never severely broken traffic laws while listening to Freebird, you haven't really lived. I'm not advising you to do that because it's illegal, but I will say I've allegedly maybe done it, and there's no better song to speed to than Freebird, or so I've heard. And her cover of Freebird is really good. So, Freebird by Dolly Parton and then 9 to 5 by Dolly Parton are two of my favorites. Carnifex Maximus is in the chat already. He says, White Boy Summer. I guess that's referring to my sunburn. Yeah, that was the goal. That was the attempt. We rolled the dice on a White Boy Summer, me and some of my friends. It ended up turning into Red Crispy Boy Summer. Because, again, none of us thought to use sunscreen. My wife needs to be more forceful with me next time we go to the beach. Don't just tell me to put on sunscreen, babe. Make me do it. Force me to do it. Put a gun to my head if you have to. All right. Moving on from that, sunburns and Dolly Parton and Lottie Dottie Doll, all the bad stuff that happened over the last few days. I want to talk about something that I think is just kind of fun as we head into the NFL season. I'm a big football fan. I love football. And so obviously we're ramping up. The season is just weeks away. The Cowboys, my favorite go-to team, are kicking butt in the preseason. Let's hope that holds out. I think this is our year, guys. But one of the fun things that has begun happening as of late is we've got more uniforms for every single team. I know this is a marketing gimmick. I know they're just doing this to sell merchandise. I don't care. I like it. I think it's cool. I like teams having some variation. Sue me. And the Texans are great at doing this. Their uniforms every year look fantastic. And I'm not really a Texans fan. I enjoy Texans football, but I'm more a Cowboys fan than anything else. And so I really enjoy seeing the Texans uniforms that they put out every year, even though I'm not necessarily rooting for them to win the Super Bowl. This year, they've got some more good ones. I think these look good. I do. They're super white. They've got the Houston blue. They're doing the tile thing, which I think is just an awesome tie-in to just good old Houston history. You can see a picture in this picture, a picture of the tiled street signs that we used to have, these mosaic street signs. You can still see some of these in some of the older parts of the city. They're not as common now. A lot of them are just kind of dilapidated and we've moved on, but there's still a handful of these around town. You can still go find them. And they're just a really neat part of Houston history. That's kind of where the white and blue color scheme comes from. I think this is cool. Are they just trying to sell merchandise? Obviously. Obviously, that's their goal. But it's kind of working. I'm a Cowboys fan, and I kind of want to go buy some of this merchandise just because it's a fun tie-in to the city. And even though I am a Cowboys fan, I love the city of Houston. So I completely support this. What's really fun is this has caused some controversy with the Oilers, or the former Oilers, the Tennessee Titans. They are very butthurt about this. This is not the first time they've been butthurt about some uniforms. We're going to dig into that before we dig into anything really political, just because I think it's kind of fun and interesting. So stay tuned. We're taking a quick break just so I can grab a drink of water. We'll be right back in just a second. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Oh boy, what a lot to get into. I'm going to try to make this quick. I do want to talk politics. We've got some really fun, some really interesting political stories going on. So, don't think I've turned the show into just a sports show. It's not just a sports show. The fact of the matter is, this is a whatever I want to talk about show. And right now, I kind of want to talk about this uniform controversy. But before I do that, I want to talk about my show sponsor, the amazing folks at Deus Volt Lapel Pins. You've heard me talk about them before, and I know there's people listening right now that haven't bought one yet. Why? Why have you not bought one? Is it because there's not one you like? Because that's a lie. If you can't find one you don't like, you just haven't been looking hard enough. These pins are fantastic. They're not expensive. They're very affordable, very high quality lapel pins. If you ever wear a suit jacket ever, you should have a lapel pin for it. You should have one of these lapel pins for it. And if you don't wear a suit jacket ever, why? Honestly, why? This is mostly for the men, but even for the ladies, there's some nice looking kind of blazers and suit jackets for y'all. Put a lapel pin on it. They look fantastic every single time. And without the lapel pin, the suit jacket, in my opinion, just kind of looks naked. So go check out Deus Volt Lapel Pins. They've got, again, a ton of fantastic pins for not super expensive. You can use promo code NEXTPIN2026 and you'll get 10% off. So go support an amazing conservative Christian Texas-based business that puts out a fantastic product. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about this uniform controversy. So this is kind of a revolving cycle. This keeps happening. A Houston-based sports team, and it can be anyone from the Houston Texans to the U of H Cougars, will make a uniform that kind of pulls the kind of classic Houston color scheme. And that color scheme is just white and that kind of light blue, that baby blue. There's a couple of different kind of lighter tones of blue that are kind of synonymous almost with Houston. If you're familiar with kind of Houston pop culture and history going back to, let's say, the 50s or so. We've all seen those pictures of those old HPD cop cars that are that light blue. There is, of course, the tiles that are light blue, the tiled street signs, the mosaic street signs. I want to actually show you a little bit more about this because this is just a really fun piece of Houston history that I know a lot of younger folks aren't overly familiar with. So this is from the Blue Tile Project, and they've started this effort to preserve these tiled street markers. And again, you can see this drawing of them. They look just awesome. And there it is. There's that light blue tiling lettering along that mosaic white background. This is where that comes from. The Tennessee Titans, I keep wanting to say the Oilers. Yeah, in the late 1920s, long before street signs and GPS, Houston marked its corners with handcrafted blue tile. Elegant, durable, and unmistakable, these street signs were the city's first wayfinding system. Today, they're becoming more than just historical artifacts. They're becoming the foundation of something new. From cornerstones of public art to markers of memory and culture, the blue tiles are evolving into a citywide experience connecting neighborhoods, telling untold stories, and reminding us that no matter how wide it stretches, this city belongs to all of us. So that's cool. That's from the Blue Tile Project. They're working to preserve some of the last remaining tile street markers. So very cool. That's where the color scheme comes from. But the Tennessee Titans keep trying to claim that, like, that's ours. We are the ones who came up with that. And so that color scheme, it just belongs to us. And anyone that's trying to do any variation of that, they're just trying to take advantage or copy us or what have you. It's super weird that they keep doing this. And it's literally everywhere. I've seen it a bunch today from Titan fans on X, like this guy, the Titan Sector. He posts this: "Our city, our colors, our history. Sorry, little expansion team." The deep irony here is when he says, "Our city, our colors, our history," he posts that alongside a picture of the Houston Oilers, not the Tennessee Titans, playing in the Astrodome. So clearly it's not your city. It's just not. It's not your colors either. That kind of bright blue and the white color scheme have been synonymous with the city of Houston since long before the Tennessee Titans ever existed. Now, I will say, there is a legitimate criticism to be made that the Houston rivalry uniforms that used that color scheme this year do just look a whole lot like the Tennessee Titans uniform. And that's fair. Here's several pictures of the Tennessee Titans uniforms. They're very similar. They are. They're objectively very similar. Honestly, I think that's fine. Because again, you're using Houston colors. These colors are synonymous with the city of Houston. The Titans keep trying to say, no, these are our colors. They're not. They're the city of Houston's colors. They always have been. They always will be. And frankly, I'm glad that Houston sports teams are trying to kind of claw these colors back, kind of claw this history back. Because again, it started with us. The Oilers can say, oh, you're just trying to copy us. But the reality is the Oilers just haven't been able to move on from the fact that they left the city of Houston. Everybody keeps saying the Houston Texans are just trying to be the Tennessee Titans. And I think the Tennessee Titans are just trying to be the Houston Oilers. And at some point, they're just going to have to acknowledge the fact that, hey, y'all left the city of Houston. Y'all gave that up. Stop trying to pretend you didn't. You moved. You went to a new place. That's fine. You're allowed to do that. Your team, your private organization, you're allowed to move. But don't sit here and fuss about the fact that when you move to another part of the country, we don't let you claw our history away with you. And they keep trying to do this. They've been famously litigious with everybody who so much as hints at kind of mimicking that color scheme. I want you to think back to 2023. The Houston Cougars were actually the first team to really make headlines doing this. Here's the article from CBS in case you forgot. NFL threatens Houston with legal action over blatant copying of Oilers-inspired uniforms. And you can see they've really mimicked the color scheme there. It's very, very similar. I'll show you again just for comparison. Here's the Oiler uniform. And then here's the Houston Cougars uniform. Obviously, they've pulled the color scheme. Why have they done that? Because that color scheme represents the city of Houston, and it has since the 20s when we started using those street tiles to mark our streets. And yet, the Oilers keep trying to say, or the Titans, I'm doing it again. The Titans keep trying to say, no, this is ours now. It was never yours. We, the people of Houston, allowed you to wear those colors because you represented and played for the city of Houston. Then you moved. Tennessee's got plenty of colors to play with, man. You don't have to sit and claw on to Houston colors. There are plenty of great things about Tennessee, plenty of great color schemes I'm sure you can pull. I mean, why are we acting like this is some insane thing for Houston teams to want to use this color scheme? I think it's just stupid, and it goes to show you how petty the Titans are, that they sued a college. And, of course, U of H basically just told them, okay, sue us. We didn't do anything wrong, and they didn't sue them. They backed off, and then I think Rice University came back and did the same thing the next year. I want to say in 2024, they had a very similar uniform. I think every sports team in Houston should do this. Use that color scheme. And if the Titans really want to make a fuss about it, let them file a lawsuit. Go ahead. But at the end of the day, those are our colors. I'm proud of the city of Houston, even if I'm slightly less proud of our football team. But hey, I like it. Let's go. Keep the drama rolling. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Quick little breaky breaks. If you're wondering why I do that, this is a social media live stream primarily, this show, but I do cut it for radio just in case we want to re-air it on some of our affiliates later on. So that's why we have those little breaks in there. Also, it gives me a really nice opportunity to drink a copious amount of water, which you have to do when you talk a lot, which I do. Okay, we've talked about silly stuff. We've talked about football. Can't wait for the NFL season to kick off. Let's talk a little bit about some serious stuff, some politics. I want to start by actually giving some rare props to a local Harris County official. That almost never happens. Most of our local officials are terrible. There are some notable exceptions, of course. I'm personally fairly fond of Mayor John Whitmire. I'm also fairly fond of one in particular, county commissioner here in Harris County. But I do have to say, our county clerk surprised me. I'm very happy with a move that County Clerk Tanisha Hudspeth recently made, rejecting a 70% salary increase. This, I thought, was a fantastic move from a politician who just completely turned down money that she could have just accepted and nobody would have batted an eye at her for it. So, Houston Chronicle reports this. Harris County Clerk Tanisha Hudspeth, a Democrat, has rejected a nearly 70% raise according to a Monday news release. Harris County Commissioners voted on August 6th to increase the salaries of all 8 constables and most countywide elected officials to $305,000, that's per year. But commissioners gave officials the option to decline the raises, which must be funded using their existing budgets. Hudspeth is the only official to publicly decline the pay hike. At this time, I have chosen not to accept the newly approved salary, Hudspeth said. My immediate focus remains on ensuring the resources available to the county clerk's office are directed towards filling the positions requested during the budget process and maintaining the staffing needed to effectively serve Harris County residents and fulfill our statutory responsibilities. Now, Tanisha Hudspeth could have just as easily accepted the raise, took that money, that would have gone into just her bank account. This is her money. She's working a job. She's getting paid for it. Nobody would have batted an eye. I believe right now she makes something along the lines of $100,000 a year. I think that's the standard salary. And this would represent a very significant raise for her that, again, nobody would have really given her any flack for taking. Now, the county commissioners may have caught some fire for handing out these raises, but she could free and clear take this raise and wash her hands of it and just say, hey, I was given a raise. I don't know what y'all want me to do. But she chose, rather than pursuing what was in her own best interest, because, again, it is within her best interest to take this money. If somebody offers you $300,000 a year for anything, it's in your best interest to take it, unless it's, something explicit, barring the obvious exceptions to that rule, right? So the fact that she chose to, rather than prioritizing her own interests, prioritize the needs of the county and her constituents, that is a great example of actual public service. Now, does she have her own motivations for doing this? Is she angling at something? I don't know. Maybe she may be trying to make a play here, get myself some headlines, look to be more responsible. I can run for something later with the basis of this. I don't know. I don't know what her motivation is. Regardless, she made what I think to be the right move. And I'll give credit when it's due. I probably wouldn't vote for Tanisha Hudspeth. If there's a Republican on the ballot against her, I'm going to vote for the Republican. But that was a good move. I applaud you, Tanisha Hudspeth. Well done. All right, now let's talk about a race that really doesn't have anything to do with me. This is a congressional race in basically the complete opposite side of the state. This is a congressional district that kind of reaches from the corner of San Antonio all the way down into kind of the Big Bend area. It's actually the biggest congressional district in the state of Texas. This is Texas's 23rd congressional district. And gun enthusiast and YouTuber Brandon Herrera, who I think is just the GOAT, is running against the aptly named Katie Padilla Stout. And she has made some headlines recently for a couple of reasons. None of them are good. She has tried to go out and fuss at the Trump administration for constructing border wall along the Big Bend National Park. And I know that's pretty universally on both the left and the right. People are saying we don't need this border wall. The sheriff out in that area is Sheriff Thaddeus Cleveland of Terrell County. He's a great guy. I've spoken with him a number of times. He's openly saying we don't need this. This shouldn't be built here. Brandon Herrera has also said we do not need border wall here. I don't know. I don't live there. I've never been to the Big Bend area, so I just don't know. But a lot of people are saying we don't need a border wall there, including the Republicans that represent that area. Now, Katie Padilla Stout tried to go out and say they're still building this border wall, even though that construction has actually been paused. She did this big production video about how this construction is still going on, and that's why you need to vote for her, even though the construction had stopped. And so Brandon Herrera went out and basically parodied the video that she has since taken down. I want to show you Brandon Herrera's video. I really want to show you Katie Padilla Stout's video, but I can't because she took it down from everywhere and deleted her Instagram after people called her out for this. But just to get the idea, watch Brandon Herrera's video. I'll play it for you now. And bear in mind that it is a shot-for-shot remake of Katie Stout's video.
Hi there, my name is Brandon Herrera. I'm the Republican nominee for Texas Congressional District 23, an avid supporter of protecting Big Bend. You might hear that construction noise in the background. That's because we added it in post. You see, something insane just happened. My opponent posted this video claiming that there was construction going on here in Big Bend.
If you are out here, you can see that there are still trucks coming in by the dozens. You can probably hear the beeping of construction that is still going on.
This is bizarre for two reasons. One, as you can hear, there's no construction going on whatsoever. Two, we're not in Big Bend. We are in the beautiful small town of Alpine, Texas, which, if you know anything about West Texas, is doubly funny because we're about an hour drive away from Big Bend and just about 100 miles away from the piece of border being discussed. Bonus points for funny. Where Katie was standing, she could have seen the map on the mural and known she was nowhere near where she was claiming to be. And again, as you can see, there's absolutely no construction happening of any. So why did Katie Stout say that? Well, that leaves us with two distinct possibilities. One, she's clueless about Texas District 23 and has no idea where she is in it, which is actually not very far-fetched considering she can't even remember how many counties are in the district she's trying to represent.
Obviously, this district is incredibly large. It spans 26 counties.
Speaking of incredibly large, have you seen Katie Stout? The aptly named Katie Stout. I'm sorry, continue.
We have 26 counties.
So
And
26
go.
counties in total.
There are 27, by the way. Used to be 29, but there's 27. Anyway, she's either clueless about the district or, much worse in my opinion, she's actively lying to you to try to get your vote. She's fabricating a story and putting out false information that she knows to be untrue. Either way, I consider either one of those things to be completely disqualifying for somebody who's trying to run to represent the biggest district in all of Texas and one of the most beautiful places in the entire country. So
this is a masterclass in campaigning from Brandon Herrera. I mean, this is just so good. If you'd seen the full original video from Katie Stout, you would understand how great it is. I'm so livid that she took it down. I actually pulled it up on Instagram and I watched it before she took it down. I saved it with the express purpose of showing it to you this evening. And this goober not only took the video down, but completely deleted her entire Instagram page just so there would be no chance that you happen to dig it up somehow. And I tried. I spent 10 minutes before this show trying to go back and find it. I wish I could pull it up and show it to you because he literally does shot for shot. And you kind of see it. He tagged him in there, these little instances of her original video. It's just so funny. And he makes a good point. She's either just the biggest, pun intended, buffoon to ever run for Congress in the state of Texas, or she's just lying to you. I think both are equally likely. The Democrats are famous for not being the prickliest cactuses in the desert, the sharpest knives in the drawer, so to speak. And also, they're also famous for lying. So it could be either one. We'll be right back. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, let's close out strong here. I know we've got a lot of new people that have tuned in since the start of the stream. Good evening. Welcome to you. If you're wondering why my face looks like, honestly, I don't even know what my face looks like right now. This is the worst sunburn I have ever had, but that's what it is. It's a sunburn. I did a silly goof thing and I used spray on low SPF sunscreen on my face when I went to the beach this weekend. Don't do that, white folks. If you're like me, if you have literally zero melanin to protect you, Get the cream, get like the SPF a billion, and just slather that crap all over your face because you will need it. I learned that lesson the hard way, learned from my mistake. All right. We're talking about Katie Padilla Scott, or Stout. I keep saying Scott. It's Stout. I think I'm saying Scott because I can't believe that a person has that apt of a name. And I'm usually not one to fat shame or whatever the term is now. Listen, I could stand to lose some weight myself, but this lady is huge. She just is. And that's fine if you're, eating a bunch of food and getting huge off of your own dime. That's one thing entirely. You're allowed to do that. This is America. The thing that kind of sticks out to me about this is it sort of looks like one of the big reasons she's so huge is because she's using her campaign funds to buy cookies and stuff. I'm not kidding. On top of not being able to navigate her district super well, or her wannabe district, she came under fire today because records show she's spending a lot of campaign money on cookies, tacos, and liquor. And once again, there's a picture of Katie Padilla Stout. She is, as one might say, stout. That's just what it is. And then here's the campaign filing. Receipt, Total Wine, San Antonio, Texas, $1,000. Cookies for event, $675. That's a lot of cookies. Cookies aren't even that expensive. Here's another Total Wine for $200. La Guiteras Cocina Mexicana in Bernie, Texas, $2,000. And then Las Gutierrez again in Bernie for $346. So in total, over $4,000 in campaign funds on cookies and tacos and alcohol. Now, listen, I know this is a political campaign. I know that when you're running a campaign, you host events. And when you host events, a lot of the times you do stuff like this. You buy these finger foods and whatnot. So, I mean, is this really a scandal? No. But it is kind of funny. Can we all just be honest with ourselves about that? It is kind of funny that this absolutely sizable congressional candidate spent $4,000 of campaign funds on cookies and tacos. I mean, honestly, politics these days is shaping out like as if I wrote the political storyline. That's what's happening. Like if you sat me down with a pen and paper and you said, Ethan, I want you to write out the plot of the 2026 campaign cycle as if it were a comedy, this is probably about what I would come up for you. And I really don't even want to say that because I don't think I could come up with anything this funny. And this is funny. Maybe I just have a childish sense of humor, but this is funny to me. All right, let's talk about something else here. A little bit less serious. I'm going to do a big 180 here. Get all your giggles out for the large congressional candidate, because we need to talk about Carmelo Anthony a little bit. Now, this is good news. So, Carmelo Anthony appeal. What's next after motion for new trial was denied. So, if you haven't been following, Carmelo Anthony is the guy who has become infamous for that track meet stabbing last year. He just straight up murdered another boy at a track meet just because he felt like it, apparently, is what some of the info we're starting to get now shows. On Saturday, a newly appointed judge in Collin County denied a motion for a new trial for Carmelo Anthony, the teen convicted of killing 17-year-old Austin Metcalf at a 2025 Frisco track meet. During an appeal hearing last week, testimony revealed the gentleman's agreement from the initial trial that withheld information about both Anthony and Metcalf. The case will now go through the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals in Dallas, but the appeals process could delay an appeals hearing until 2027. So basically, Carmelo Anthony wanted a new trial. He claimed, or his supporters have claimed, I don't know if this is the basis of his appeal, but they've been making the case that there were no black jurors seated. And so obviously this wasn't a fair trial. Now, it's worth pointing out that that does not mean this was an all-white jury. There were a number of racial minorities on this jury, but there were no black jurors specifically, because basically every time they were asked, can you be impartial in this case, the prospective black jurors said, no, I don't think I can send another black person to jail. I just don't want to do that. And so none of them got seated, which is completely reasonable. And anyone telling you it isn't is crazy. What I think is really interesting about all of this is during these hearings, in this request for a new trial, we learned a lot more about Carmelo Anthony. Apparently, this guy has a long history of problems. He was a problem student going all the way back to when he was in school in Louisiana. Apparently, his girlfriend or ex-girlfriend, the timelines are kind of confusing, was concerned that he was stalking her or harassing her in some sort of way and actually complained to the principal about it. And according to Sarah Fields, who has been doing some great reporting on this case since the trial began, he was just openly fantasizing about stabbing people specifically in the heart. On the day Carmelo Anthony fatally stabbed Austin Metcalf, prosecutors report he sent a text message at 1 a.m. that read, "I am low-key on the verge." Later that morning on April 2nd, only hours before Carmelo Anthony stabbed Austin Metcalf to death at a high school track meet, prosecutors state that Carmelo Anthony's girlfriend told a Centennial High School staff member he was engaged in stalking behavior, to include but not limited to driving by her home and refusing to allow her to end their relationship. Text exchanges further revealed that he admitted on at least 2 occasions to punching girls in the face. Other texts show Carmelo Anthony recounting a fight and punching someone so hard he had to stop fighting. In 2021, Carmelo Anthony informed a friend that he has been suspended for 3 days after fighting, adding, "They said next time I do something, I get recommended for expulsion." So, obviously, this guy has a long history of being a problem. He's kind of known for it. And yet, he's still getting insane amounts of support from everybody up to including wannabe elected officials. Here's James Tallarico on The Breakfast Club after the conviction backing Carmelo Anthony.
From Texas, we see what happened with Carmelo Anthony, and you said it was a tragedy.
Yeah.
What did you mean by that?
Well, I've done a lot of work in the State House on justice reform, and right now we've got a system that doesn't serve all Americans equally, and we know that Black Texans have been have not gotten the justice they deserve in many cases. And you know, I'm not an expert on this particular case, but I know that there were no Black members of the jury, and to me, that's the only evidence you need to.
That's just stupid. There's no Black jurors on the jury. That's all the evidence you need. Trust me, Black Texans haven't gotten justice. Just trust me. I'm not an expert on the case, but there were no Black jurors. Don't ask me any more questions about this. This is so ridiculous and performative, and I'm sick of it. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Next Gen Report. We'll be back Sunday evening, 7 p.m. on AM 950 KPRC. Thank you very much, and God bless.